So hey everyone, I hope everyone is doing absolutely fine, and today in this video we'll be learning about data binding in Angular 21. So let's begin with it. There are four types of data binding here, as I have mentioned: interpolation, property binding, event binding, and two-way binding. Now, the first thing we'll get the question is what is data binding and why we need this? Like, what is it and why we need it? Really. Cool. So the reason is, for example, let's say data binding is something that helps you make communication between your components like TS file and your front end like the view HTML templates. The communication between both these two is where this data binding comes to the picture. The first one is your interpolation, how this interpolation works, how this TS file in a sense. Let me show you this one. So this TS file, inside this we have this class. We are inside this app.ts, and here let's say we have some variables, and we want to access those variable, and we need to display those in our HTML file over here, so that it will display in our front end. How we are going to do that, and that's where this data bindings comes to the picture. There are multiple ways we can do. First one is interpolation. This interpolation where uh, we have a variable like a variable in ts file in .ts file. It can be string, int, whatever it is. It won't be an issue. So let's say name. We have a string or name of string, which is this one. Okay. So now we want this name Biswa to be shown in our front end. So for that, we need to access this name variable, right? So how we are going to access this in our front end? See here, when you see here in this TS file, we have already attached our template URL, which is app.html, this one. So we'll go there, and what we're going to write, we'll make some curly braces. Like example of syntax of this interpolation is this one. So we'll do this double curly braces. We need to remember that one, and we need to write this variable name, which is present in your class TS file, component TS file, which is name, and close it. So now when you'll deploy, when you will start your run your this Angular project, in that front end, you'll get a display of this name, this one. Let's try it. Well, what we are going to do here is I'll explain you which, and you'll try that one, and you'll go to the next concept of that. Let's try here. Let's say let me first create a. You might be in this page, or you can go to this page which we have created earlier and do. And if your terminal is not working, let me repeat again. Go to your node.js present in your computer, and go to its terminal, node.js terminal. There you can go to this path where your current project is present, and you can do ng generate component demo one. Okay. So, okay, demo one is created. So inside demo one, what we're going to do, we'll create a variable. Let's say name. Here we are using TypeScript, so we need to define the type, and inside that we'll find the name. So we have defined our name, and we want this name to be shown in our front end. So first, let's also deploy this one. Then we'll show you. Let's see. So after displaying it, after running this one, let's see what it's currently showing. And if right now it wants to Biswa, so later on we'll put that. So run this one, ng serve, and open. It takes a little time. Okay, fine. It's showing now. Okay, so now it's fully blank, and we need to display this over there. So what are we going to? We'll do interpolation. Now variable is already defined here. Let's go to HTML and we'll define. We'll create one name. So then we need to put this components inside that pan component, which is our app HTML app.ts file. App.ts file. There we go to app.ts file and we'll import our demo one. After demo one, put that in your import array, imports array. Demo one done. And now let's go to our HTML page, and there we'll get this selector of the demo one. Selector of this demo one is app demo one. Copy it and paste it in here. Okay. So now let's see. See, now it's coming this one. So this is what interpolation is. It helps you to access the variables or any sorts of let's say anything that returns a value or something like that inside a variable. It will get that inside a variable and will access those variable using interpolation. Understood? Now let's go to next topic. And next topic we have property binding. So property binding is something that helps in our like elements like HTML elements. So property binding is let's say we have some sorts of image like image elements like in HTML element which is called image src placeholder. Here where it helps to give a property like of any elements like to put a value inside any property of any HTML element, like elements HTML in the sense it can be button where we have the property called disabled, right? And if it is disabled is true, then you won't be able to click on those buttons. So when we need to make it false for clicking over there, to clicking the button. So what we are going to do here, we'll implement a button and we'll see how this property binding works. And for that, the syntax of property binding is this. So here we have a property in the disabled for button. So what we are going to do, we need to access like this button. This is the syntax of this one. The property is disabled is equal to this expression. Expression in the sense any variable which is present in your backend. Let's say submit it. Next page. Once they have submitted, then only this button will get visible to them. Else it won't. Next page button. Hope you are able to understand what I mean to say. Yes, let me show you now. See, let me code you and I will show you that one in demo 2 only. Let's go here. And here what we need to do, here we need to create a boolean one like true and false. Now the value which we are going to put inside a disabled, this one inside the disable will be true or false. So for that case, what we have to do here is we'll create a variable called um, what was the variable name you submitted? Submitted submitted it will be boolean. Let's say if it is true, currently if it is true. Now this value can be assigned using any functions or whatever it is. Just we have a value where we have a called true. Now we are going to make sure that in that HTML, whenever that value inside that submitted button is true, then only then we are going to make that button uh, not visible. We won't be visibling that button until that value is true inside the disabled submitted value. When it becomes sorry, here if submitted true, then we'll get disabled. Um, okay. When okay, little confusion was there. Sorry. When submitted, when it is becomes true, then what we are going to do here is uh, true means we need to make it a not for that one. So if it is true, then we cannot directly put their button inside button. We cannot directly assign it this submitted value to this disabled because reason. Let me show you. Disabled where here we can send here we can send directly that submitted. Here we can directly send this one, but the problem will be if it is true. If it becomes true, then this value will be still disabled. We need to make it false in that case. It will be true in the here it will be true because it is already submitted. And but if it remains true here, disabled means it will disable that. It won't show that button to user. So what we're going to do here, we will put a not. Now it will work. Like we need to convert that into opposite. Like if it is true, then we need to convert it in false. If it is false, we need to convert it in true. Understood? Just think logically. Just look why I am doing this one because hope you understood this one. If it is clear, then proceed. Else, just rewind and watch it again. You'll understand. Now let's see. Let's see it in our display. Next page. Now it's showing us because it's true. We have already submitted. So go to the next page. If we make it false, let's make it false, and we have not submitted now. And if we remove this not value, now that false will come here and it will still show us. Now we do not want that one because now we don't want this button to visible. But here as it is false, but it's showing us. So for that's the reason why I need to make it false. See, now it won't be. So that's where property binding comes to the picture. Now let's go to event binding. Event binding is a little easier. So what is event binding is? Event binding. Whenever, whenever, whenever you click any button or let's say you hover your mouse arrow over any sorts of sentence or whatever makes changes. So let's see, I am clicking in this button and it's doing something. It's when I'm clicking something, it's doing some actions. So that is done using our event bind. Event binding means, let's say, the syntax of event binding is like this. We have a call button. Let's say in button only, I'll tell you. We have this button where we have a event like whenever a user clicks something, then run a function which is uh, demo function. or like anything. Click here, it is click, click, and so whenever someone, any user will click this one, so it will run this function. It can be click or click me. No need to make match between this and this. This is a syntax. Click is a syntax. You are telling that uh, whenever there is a click, do this one. So you are specifying whenever there is a click, do this one. You can specify your mouse on, like mouse hover. Whenever you hover over here or over this button, it will change the color of it also. Whenever you just bring this arrow over this button, it will change your color as well. At that point of time, you need to specify that name, maybe your mouse on. I guess I'm not sure of that. Mouse on or on mouse, something like that. You need to put here in place of click, and it will run this function. So that's where event binding comes to the picture. And now let me show you the implementation of that. So let's get another function. Let me just define this h1, which is our called property binding chart. Then we have event binding. Inside event binding, we are getting another button where it says click me, and we are doing some click is a syntax. We need to remember that one. Property inside click. Whenever there is a click, we are running a function called run, which that function will be defined here. So run. Whenever we are running it, what we are going to do here is we are making this name, this dot name to running, to running. Then we'll display that over here. It will also display there the same thing. It will change here as well and here as well. Let's see this one. Now it's showing this. So previously it was defined like this. Let's click here and let's say running. So this is what event binding is. So whenever you click something or any button, it will run a function. That's what it is. So whatever function, you need to define it yourself based on your project requirement. So now let's go to the main one, two-way binding. So here in this two-way binding, what it tells, both direction. Means in this previous three components, what we are doing, we are just accessing our uh, uh, one way. Like else we are going from front end to back, the back part of it, like to the component TS file, or else in the TS file to the front end. Like here, as we are going to the data we are sending from, we are getting the data from the variables which were inside our TS file. So the data is coming from the TS file to the front end. So component means that this component means that TS file dot TS file, and this is that HTML dot HTML. So previously I was doing that. Event was different from HTML. We are clicking something. That's where the data is going inside. And here, but in this two-way binding, both from TS and HTML, both will exchange simultaneously. They will contribute to each other. So whenever we type something in HTML, let's say we have some input here. Let's say we have some input called name. Name. We are typing something like Biswa or something, whatever it is. It is simultaneously in real time in your front end only. Let's see, this is your, as this is already your front end, so here it will display your name. Understood? So that's where two-way binding is. Your front end, your back end, like this view and your component, both will work simultaneously. Let's implement it practically. But for that, you need to remember something. What you need to remember is to use for that. What we use a thing called ng model. This is something that we need to use, and inside this we need to put your that variable name, or which you need to access the property name of that class or something element. The property. It can be anything. Can be anything. And property name means the variable which where you'll store the input. Let's say you have input. You have an input, and uh, you have this input, and this input is being stored in some variable of your that component ts file. In that ts file there is this variable, and that variable will be accessed by the front end using interpolation. Understood? Let me show you, then it will become much clear for you guys. So let's put it hr. The two-way binding. Inside two-way binding, what we're going to do here is we'll create an input. Inside input, we'll see inside this property. Inside this property, we'll put a variable name which is present in your ts file. In ts file, we'll create a variable name. Let's keep it name itself. We have already named, so here we'll define ng model. So for this, we need to import that. Uh, Something we need to import here to to use ng model. This is what we call this ng model. This is a syntax which is also known as box, banana in the box. So for that, to use this thing, we need to import called forms module. This is something that we need to import. This dependency we need to import for this ng model, which will helps us to interact from these views and the components to communicate both of them like synchronously, asynchronously. Sorry. Let's put it here. Okay, name is already we are going to define. We need to import this one and forms module. We have imported this. Put this inside your imports. Done. And now ng model. Wait. Hmm. So now it's coming, and let's say we are putting a variable which is present in our backend in the sense that ts file, and we are whatever we are going to put input here, it will get stored all those input inside this name variable, and we can access that name variable like using interpolation. Here, here, here we have now previously that name variable was containing whisper. Let's remove this one for now. Okay. Now what we're going to do, we'll put something like trial one. See, now simultaneously here is also it's going this like updating over here wherever it is. So thing here is two-way binding is the combination of property binding and your interpolation. Understood? Here over here this is combination of property and event binding. Whenever there is some changes we are making ng model, that it is updating over here the property which is the name we mentioned. So any input was there, it was updating this variable, and using that interpolation we are updating the value in front end. Understood? So this is what the flow it was. I hope it was clear, and if there is any doubt you can comment below and I'll definitely answer to each one of your questions.